Relationship goals. I must have seen that comment on our photos 1,000 times. Isaac and I were the couple everyone wanted to be. High school sweethearts who found their way back to each other after college. Youth group leaders at our church. The pair that older couples pointed to as proof that godly relationships still existed. We had the aesthetic down perfectly. The matching outfits, the anniversary posts, the hand-holding during worship, the way he gazed at me when he thought no one was watching. What no one saw was how his gaze changed when we were alone. We'd been together for 7 years, married for 3, and I was suffocating beneath the weight of a performance that had consumed my entire life. From the outside, we were perfect. On the inside, I was disappearing. Isaac and I met at 15. He was the pastor's kid, charming and confident. I was the new girl, shy and desperate to fit in. He noticed me during youth group, made me feel special, made me feel chosen. By 16, we were inseparable. By 18, we'd promised ourselves to each other. By 22, we were engaged. Everyone celebrated. Our families had been planning this wedding since we were teenagers. We were the story they wanted to tell. Childhood sweethearts, purity pledges kept, a godly union destined by heaven. I don't know when the performance started. Maybe it was always there, and I just didn't have the language to name it. Isaac was obsessed with image, how we looked, what people thought, whether we were living up to the Christian couple standard we'd been crowned with. We represent something bigger than ourselves, he'd say. People are watching us. We can't let them down. So I smiled when I was sad, held his hand when I wanted to pull away, posted the photos that captured our perfect moments, and deleted the ones that showed anything real. Being Isaac's wife wasn't a marriage, it was a ministry, and I was exhausted. No one tells you that you can be lonely in a marriage. I was surrounded by Isaac constantly, church events, small groups, family dinners, couples retreats. We were never apart. But I'd never felt more alone, because Isaac didn't see me. He saw the role I played, the image we projected, the version of me that fit the story he wanted to tell. When I tried to share my struggles, he dismissed them. You have nothing to be sad about. We have a great life. You're just being ungrateful. When I asked to skip a church event because I was exhausted, he accused me of not prioritizing our testimony. When I suggested counseling, he laughed. Counseling? For what? We're fine. Everyone says we're fine. That was the problem. Everyone else's perception had become more important than my reality. I started to wonder if I was the crazy one. If everyone saw our perfect marriage and I was the only one who felt the emptiness, maybe the problem was me. Maybe I was ungrateful. Maybe I was broken. Maybe this was just what marriage was, and I'd expected too much. I started hiding pieces of myself. A journal I kept in my car where I could write honestly without Isaac reading it. Conversations with my sister that I didn't mention to him. Moments of prayer where I begged God to show me if this hollowness was normal or if I was losing my mind. Lord, everyone says we're blessed. Everyone says we're the example, but I feel like I'm drowning in plain sight. Is this what marriage is supposed to feel like? Is this what I signed up for? The answer came slowly, not in thunder, but in small moments of clarity. A sermon about emotional abuse that made me weep in my seat. A podcast about narcissism that described my marriage with unsettling accuracy. A conversation with an older woman at church who looked at me with knowing eyes and said, "Honey, you don't have to perform for God. He sees you even when you're not smiling." I wasn't crazy, I was controlled, and the cage was built of expectations, not bars. I tried to talk to Isaac, really talk without the masks. "I'm not happy," I said one evening, my heart pounding. "I haven't been happy for a long time." He looked at me like I'd spoken another language. "What are you talking about? We just got back from that couples retreat. Everyone said how amazing we were together." That's the performance, Isaac. I'm talking about us, the real us, when no one's watching. There is no difference. We are the couple everyone sees. But I'm not the woman you think I am. I'm tired. I'm lonely. I feel invisible in my own marriage. His face hardened. You're being dramatic. You have everything a woman could want. A husband who loves you, a beautiful home, respect in the community. What more do you need? I need you to see me, the real me, not just the version that makes you look good. This is ridiculous. He stood up, signaling the conversation was over. You're going through something. Pray about it. Don't bring this energy to church tomorrow. People will notice. People will notice. That was his concern. Not my pain, not my heart. Whether our performance would be affected. I cried myself to sleep that night, and Isaac never noticed. 3 months later, we were at a church conference, sitting in the front row, holding hands, the picture of devotion. The speaker was talking about authenticity, about removing masks, about the danger of performing Christianity instead of living it. Some of you, she said, looking out over the crowd, are dying inside while smiling on the outside. God doesn't want your performance. He wants your truth, even if it's messy, even if it doesn't photograph well. Something broke open in my chest. I started crying, not the delicate tears of a moved congregant, ugly, heaving sobs that I couldn't control. Isaac grabbed my arm. "What are you doing?" he hissed. "People are staring." "I don't care. You're embarrassing us." "No, I'm finally being honest." I pulled my arm free and walked out of that conference hall, past the curious stares, past the whispered questions, past the image we'd spent 7 years building. Isaac followed me to the parking lot. "What is wrong with you? Do you know how that looked?" "I don't care how it looked anymore, Isaac. I can't do this. I can't pretend anymore." "Pretend what?" "That we're okay. That this marriage is what everyone thinks it is. We're not okay. We haven't been okay for years. And I've been so busy performing that I forgot I was allowed to feel anything real." "You're having a breakdown. We need to get you home before anyone else sees." "That's your concern? My breakdown is bad optics?" For the first time, I saw a flicker of something real cross his face. Not concern. Fear. Fear that the mask was slipping, and he didn't know how to exist without it. "What do you want me to do?" he asked, his voice smaller than I'd ever heard it. "I want you to choose me over the performance. I want you to love the real woman, not the role. I want a marriage, not a ministry. Can you do that?" He couldn't answer, and his silence told me everything. I moved into my sister's apartment 2 weeks later. The church was shocked. The families were devastated. Social media was full of speculation, affairs, secret sins, hidden drama. None of them guessed the truth, that our perfect marriage had been empty all along, that we'd been actors in a play no one asked to see, that I'd finally chosen authenticity over applause. Isaac didn't fight for me. Not really. He went through the motions. Counseling sessions he attended resentfully, conversations that always circled back to damage control. "If we separate publicly, my ministry is over," he said during our last session together. "And if we stay together, I'm over," I replied. "Which matters more to you?" He didn't have to answer. His priorities had been clear for years. We divorced quietly, announced to the church that we'd grown apart, and asked for privacy. The perfect couple narrative ended with a perfectly vague explanation. Rebuilding after a public marriage is brutal. People had opinions, judgments, theories. Some blamed me for giving up. Some blamed him for letting me go. Everyone had a version of our story that had nothing to do with reality. I lost friends, lost my position in the church, lost the identity I'd built my entire adult life around. But I also found something I'd lost years ago: myself. Without the performance, I could finally figure out who I actually was, what I actually believed, what I actually wanted from life and love and God. I went to therapy, real therapy, Not the church-sanctioned kind that told me to submit harder. A professional who helped me understand the difference between partnership and performance. I learned that I'd been so focused on looking godly that I'd forgotten how to actually connect with God. I learned that image management is a form of idolatry, worshiping perception instead of truth. I learned that a marriage where you can't be yourself isn't a covenant, it's a prison with nice curtains. I ran into Isaac at a mutual friend's wedding. He looked good. He always looked good. The image was intact. He'd remarried, someone I didn't know, someone who smiled the same way I used to smile. "You look happy," he said, and there was genuine surprise in his voice. "I am happy, for the first time in years." "The church misses you." "I found a new church, one that values authenticity over aesthetics." He nodded, something unreadable passing across his face. "I'm glad you're doing well. I really am." I believed him. Isaac wasn't a monster. He was a man so trapped in performance that he'd lost the ability to live without an audience. I hoped his new wife saw more of him than I ever had, but I suspected she was learning the same role I'd played, just with different lines. To every woman living a beautiful lie, you're allowed to be messy. You're allowed to struggle. You're allowed to have a marriage that doesn't photograph well, but feels like home. God doesn't scroll your Instagram. He sees your heart. And a heart that's performing is a heart that's dying. I spent 7 years being the perfect wife, and I lost myself completely. It took walking away from everything I'd built to find out who I actually was. If your relationship requires you to disappear, it's not love. If your partner only values your highlight reel, they don't know you. If your faith community can't handle your honesty, find a new community. You were not created to perform. You were created to live, fully, freely, authentically. The real you is enough. Stop hiding her behind the perfect picture. She deserves to be seen.